If you've ever practiced reloading your guns at your house, and while doing so, you dropped a magazine directly onto your foot, and it really hurt, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, comment, do all the good things. It really does help me out quite a bit. If you're not aware, I have shirts that are coming out through Alonzo Defense Group, so I'm gonna have a link down there in the description. Make sure you follow it, buy a shirt. It does directly support my channel, and I do appreciate all the help. Listen, I'm not just advocating for money on Patreon, I'm not a slut. But if you wanna buy a shirt, be an OG Thought Slayer, and also support the channel, hit that. So today we're gonna be talking about how to mount an optic into scope rings. In this case, we're going to be mounting a low power variable into a Geissele Automatics Super Precision mount. Now, with the Geissele Automatics Super Precision mount, I want to be perfectly clear. I am sponsored by Geissele. I get Geissele products for free, and I like them a lot, and we're good friends. Now, does this affect my bias? I don't believe so. I've always been a big fan of Geissele products, and I've always believed them to be the best as far as military use is concerned. So this is no different. The Geissele mounts are currently in use by SOCOM in the SOP mod program. You see them in a lot of harsh use environments. This particular mount was the one that is designed for the Vortex, and it is SOP mod certified. They are a little bit heavier. They're about 7.2 ounces. However, they are bomb proof. They have a crazy return to zero, and I would trust my life if I had to mount an optic for war and that type of thing. So Geissele, great mounts. I try to be as unbiased as possible, but just full disclosure, they are given to me for free. We are mounting the EOTech Vudu, which is a 1:6 optic. I'm going to be doing a review on this. Again, this one was also given to me by EOTech in order to review and give my thoughts on. So we should have that in about a month or two. I want to do about 6K rounds before I give you my full opinion on it. But so far, it is pretty freaking awesome. If you notice, I had this mounted on the CZ805 Bren pistol. That's the S1 model. Interesting pistol. And we'll be talking about that. Expect a review in about a month or two. I haven't put any rounds through it yet. I just got it, but I am looking forward to it. I do like the ergo so far. So more on that later. But anyhow, for now, we're going to be mounting that optic. We're going to be going over to Nick at Sharpshooting Indoor Range and Gun Shop in Spokane. If you go there and you ever find yourself there, make sure that you go in, say that Garand sent you, or if you see Nick, make sure that you tell him that fame has changed him and not for the better. Also tell him that his hair looks great. For real though, they are awesome. They do support me quite a bit, so if you ever are in the area, check them out. Without further ado, guys, with this optic mounting video, we're not talking about how an armorer would do it. Rather, we're talking about how you could do it at your own house. So there was some confusion with the last video when Nick did it, and they're like, wow, is he really an armorer? Why would an armorer do that? No, we're kind of talking about how you could do this in the comfort of your own home. So with that in mind, let's head over to Sharpshooting. We're back at Sharpshooting Indoor Range and Gun Shop, which totally rocks. It's awesome if you haven't been here before. And we're back with Nick, the one and only, the master of all things armor.
Oh, you
ring,
make me feel so awesome.
And all that kind of stuff. Nick, what are we doing today, man?
I think what we're going to do is we are going to take this Bren, which is a pistol.
Where'd that come from?
CZ.
It did come from CZ, you're right. Actually, it's a stupid question. Okay, so we're going to take the Bren and we're going to use a Geissele
Super Precision 7.2 ounce mount.
And we are mounting in...
Oh, bring it out.
Oh, dang. Oh, dang. Thank you, EOTech. The EOTech Vudu, which is a 1:6 variable optic, and we're going to be testing the hell out of this thing in the coming months, but until we do that, we need to figure out how to actually mount this. So to help us mount this is, of course, Nick Brown of Sharpshooting fame. So we're gonna show the average layman how to do this.
So at home I would use pillows or anything I could do to level my rifle, or in this case pistol, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have this little stand.
That's a bench.
And this bench is going to hold.
Damn, that's a sexy looking rifle.
Pistol.
Sorry, pistol.
Yeah.
Sexy looking pistol.
Call it what you want. You can use like little torpedo levels because everybody has those for little projects that they put at home.
So for those who don't know, what are torpedo levels? What do you mean by that?
That's just a colloquial term I've used for them.
Okay.
Colloquialism.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And you're gonna just rest it on the top of the receiver of the gun, and you want to try and find level. Now these you can also get at Harbor Freight, these little bubble levels. These are weavers, which obviously end up costing more money because they have a gun name on them.
Of course.
but just to show that, you know, it's consistent.
So what happens if you don't level your gun, level everything when you mount your optic?
What happens is simple. The reticle is going to be cattywampus. That's a technical term.
That is a technical term.
No, so the reticle won't be level.
So that will make it more difficult to zero and for holdovers and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So once you've zeroed, you won't have. You might be able to get your reticle zeroed, but like you said, when you start to do holds and stuff like that,
yeah, it's gonna not be as nice.
So we want to level the rifle first, and then we want to. What we're going to do is we're going to take the caps off the top of our mount, and we're going to set the mount. Now, it recommends setting the mount last.
Okay.
I'm not going to level the mount, level the scope in there, and not know what kind of eye relief you need on it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. So we're going to do that last.
Okay.
So the objective here, take top caps off, set the scope, find out where your eye relief is. Eye relief is going to be, you know, that sweet spot where you have a good field of view, where you have good clarity, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's pretty generous on the EOTech Vudu right here. Let's see if we can kind of make that work. Ooh.
Sideways.
Yeah, it's sideways, but they get the point. It's a pretty good eye relief on these, but even still, it's going to be important to.
The camera picks that up. That's insane.
Yeah, it's going to be important to make sure that we have that set correctly.
What we're going to do is just remove these.
This allows us then to set the scope in there and kind of get it leveled and everything, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
We're going to take the caps off completely. And we do this here at Sharpshooting. We do scope installs, and we do scope leveling and bore sight this. And we charge about $50 to do everything.
It's pretty good.
As a, you know, as a whole.
You know, I mean, honestly, to have peace of mind that your optic mount is just good to go, like, I think it's worth it.
So I'm going to try and get this thing mounted as far rearward as possible. Just to kind of see where it's at.
Okay. As far as the eye relief goes?
Yep.
Okay.
Because we're not going to take your sights off, right?
No. Well, we'll just keep those on. Might as well.
I mean, we're going to...
No reason to...
We might have to. Not
Oh my
do that.
gosh, that looks...
Fantastic. It's magic.
That looks so good.
All right. So what we need you to do...
Look down it?
Yeah. You need to determine, you know, based on...
Me, myself.
Ooh, do I get to hold this?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so about right back there is where it's good. The eye relief is really good. So I usually choke up a little bit, so we need it probably about...
Would you like to move the mount forward a little bit?
Yeah, let's definitely move the mount forward a little bit.
Okay.
Can I go ahead and do that?
Yep.
Okay. So I like to choke up a little bit further on my gun. I like to really get into it really aggressively. Yeah, that looks good right there. Perfect.
So we don't want to adjust it too much. We do want to go ahead and tighten these down. It needs to be as far forward as possible. But there's not a lot of play in here. And I think that that's what makes their return to zero maybe so much more.
I agree.
So we need to verify, you know, since we have one continuous piece of receiver on top here, which is freaking awesome. Way to go, CZ. I can use the bubble level up front and make sure that that is pretty level there. All right. When I put the caps on, I'm going to start to tighten those down again. The only Loctite recommended, if any, which is relatively rare. I usually find we're using at least something. Geissele doesn't go out of their way to recommend it. They say if you feel it necessary, you're going to use the purple Loctite.
That's one of the weaker variants, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Right. And these are going to be at 15 to 18 inch pounds.
Okay.
We don't want to snug them down completely. Because I still want to be able to adjust the scope accordingly.
Yeah.
And make sure it's going to be level.
That makes sense. We're just kind of getting it kind of somewhat set into place, and then we can kind of adjust it from there.
And you'll notice there's a little bit more of a gap over here than there is over here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to open this back up.
Try to get as even as possible.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm really not the greatest guy to do this. I am a little too much of a perfectionist.
You are a perfectionist, Nick.
It's really sad.
It's actually a huge detriment against you.
It really is. I'm sure.
All right, so you're kind of tightening every side down to make sure it's nice and even.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to close those gaps, and you can measure that. You can use shims, and I believe they actually have a number put to it, which is approximately, approximately.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, just approximately even, I would suppose. All right, so we get that level, and I'm going to use the cap of the scope.
That's what I've done in the past too.
Really simple.
Yeah. There we go. And so you're cross-referencing that against the rifle to make sure that rifle is still level as well, correct?
Correct. Now, there's an awesome little phenomenon that happens when you start to apply torque to these caps, and that can throw that scope out of level.
Okay, yeah, I know that's really common with the arrow mounts. I know that you kind of have to
really kind of play with it.
Yeah, you have to kind of tighten it and then mark it and then retighten it. So I kind of like these. I know other companies do kind of similar designs to kind of keep it from rotating when tightening. I think LaRue has one, Bobro, and I want to say American Defense, ? Pretty sure. I do like their aim point mounts, speaking of which. What do you think, Nick? You're the expert on this.
I think it looks fantastic.
All right.
And for this, I mean, we're talking about a 1-to-6 here.
And that looks beautiful right there. All right, let's do it. So we're going to tighten these down at this point?
Yep. So I made sure that there was even spacing with just enough to get the scope to move where I needed it to within the mount. Remember that these are torqued down to hand tight plus 1/4 turn, which is approximately 6 foot-pounds or 72 inch-pounds if you're using a torque wrench. Now we're going to do 15 to 18 on these, and I'm just going to start by applying a little bit of gentle pressure, but the same to each, and I'm going to go diagonally.
That makes sense. Little star formation there.
Yep.
And that's to ensure that it's as even as possible between each side.
Correct.
It's so delicate, like a surgeon.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I would have made a good one.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
That's probably why I left med school.
And the gap is all but closed.
Nice.
On all of these. I mean, it's...
Dude, Geissele really machines things with crazy tolerances. And that's not me just like saying that, like...
No, it's true.
Insane.
The rail installation was a perfect example of that. I was thoroughly impressed. And
awesome rails. There's a couple other companies that kind of get close, like Hodge Defense, and that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there are others, but like that kind of tolerance is... I don't even know what's required as far as manufacturing is concerned, but it's insane from what I understand.
All right. I think we have this thing, like, torqued beyond where it needs to be.
All right, let's do this.
This is just that...
Can I touch it?
You can certainly...
I want to touch it.
Touch it. Still level.
Nice, yeah. So I was watching that, and it stayed just even because we were being so careful. Nice. Oh, does that not look good on there? Oh, that's perfect. All right. Nick, anything you want to say to everybody?
Geissele stuff's awesome.
What else matters, Nick?
Money.
Looking cool.
Looking good.
Looking cool.
Looking cool.
Hell yeah.